I gave a little presentation yesterday, a little webinar to a couple of people, and I figured I'm going to record this again because it was super helpful and useful for everyone on the call. So if you're an interior designer, an architect, or any kind of small business that is working in the creative world and you want to get more leads, more clients, more visibility through digital marketing, through your online presence, you want to grow your authority and get more people to know you exist, then this is exactly for you. In this video, I'm going to unpack everything you need to know on how you can grow your business through Google, where your people are already searching for you. And I'm going to uncover every myth. Everyone's out there telling you this doesn't work anymore, SEO is dead. I'm going to show you real results of real companies, real people, some of our clients, what they're doing right now, what's working for them, what's not working, and how you can quickly do this as well. And if you need help, how that would look like and who to look for. If you're looking for a marketing agency to help you in your business, what you need to look in for, what you need to expect, what the costs are. So absolutely everything you need to know. So without further ado, let's dive right into this presentation that I did yesterday, and I'm going to show you step by step everything that you need to know. So starting with the beginning, right? Attention is all you need, right? You don't need more than attention. And I'll get into this in a sec, what is important here. So if we look at a little bit, I already explained all of this, right? How are we going to 10x your results online? Okay, I'm going to unpack that. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know. Then we're going to do a 2025 reality check, what's actually working in 2025 right now, and what is maybe snow from the past. Okay, we're going to look at why attention is so important and how you can get more attention, proof of why this works, and multi-billion-dollar companies that are actually doing this right now. We're going to talk about SEO, we're going to talk about paid ads, and we're going to go into take action and look at what that actually means. So imagine you had 10 times more client inquiries, 10 times more people reaching out for your help, and 2 to 3 times as much profit per project, per client as you had right now, and making double or triple what you're currently making. And you had the freedom to choose who you want to work with and, scale your practice. And I hear what you're saying, right? You're telling me, Sebastian, we're architects, we're designers, we're creative people. Things are different. We have requirements, we have laws, we have, things that the industry doesn't let us charge more. And the economy, building costs, construction costs way higher, wallets are smaller, things are not working as they should. And marketing is just not the same for us, right? We're not marketing, some little window replacement or something like that, right? These are big, high ticket, multi-million-dollar projects, sometimes charging fees of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's not just as simple. We can't just run a Facebook ad, and we've tried SEO and stuff like that, and that hasn't worked for us. So my question to you here is, what if it wasn't, right? What if I could show you some companies that are actually capitalizing on this and a simple, steps to endless more leads and, charging the rates that you want, or at least a lot of ways on how you can get more money per client, even if the client is a tire kicker or not the right fit, and have the financial freedom to travel wherever you want to go to places all over the world, speak at conferences, join those podcasts, write a book. And yeah, this is a very specific example here for architects that I thought would be funny because there's so much going on around these big projects. So even if we just achieved a little bit of that, right? Like 50% or even less, right? Would it be worth listening? Would it be worth looking into? And, how we scale by using ads profitably, how we do so for clients, how we do so for other people, and how we increase the revenue per client with email nurturing sequences and affiliates. So really quickly, for everyone that doesn't know me, right? I'm Sebastian. I've spent over 10 million on ads for myself, my clients, and the companies that I worked with. I've spent years in the advertising industry working for some of the biggest companies like Dentsu. And I also have a software company called Flying Media, where we do specific software for interior designers, architects, and we build out all the nurture sequences and the flows for them. And at Market Your Architecture, we help architects, interior designers, and creative people, especially, level up their SEO, run ads, and get more clients through digital marketing. So quick reality check. We're 2025 right now. You can buy an entire home on Amazon with one click. Okay, so for every one of you that doubted that people are buying big shit online and this is actually happening, we're now 2020 and there's a lot happening, right? There's not just this home. There's half of all luxury purchases were done in cash. For every one of you that, doubts that the markets are there and people have money, they're paying cash. And the most expensive item ever sold was a Giga yacht for over $160 million, which sold over eBay online, right? And there's multiple other stories of, homes being sold through TikTok DMs where the realtors are not needed anymore, and other kinds of advertising methods that people are using online. So in this presentation, or everything that I show you here, I want to cover all of this, right? I want to share what's actually working and talk to you about this stuff. So clearly people are buying stuff online. We established that, right? People are buying expensive stuff online. So they're buying yachts, homes, other things, and people are getting inspired. They're researching, browsing, reviewing, justifying their decisions. They're doing absolutely everything online. And if any of you is, Generation Y or earlier and has children, you probably realized that your kids are doing things differently, right? They're making decisions through Instagram, through Pinterest, and it's not so much anymore, there's a lot of different influences that are coming through our smartphones and all these social media platforms that we're on, and we search things online. Sometimes it may feel like Google is already outdated, right? Because, younger people are searching things directly on TikTok or on YouTube. So clearly this is a market, and people are going online to figure out everything. So attention is everything. And this is what this slide is about. Attention is everything that you need. For all of you that know the incredibly good book by Robert Greene, where he goes over the 48 laws of power, law number 6 states that court attention at all costs. So this book talks about all of the emperors and, people like Napoleon and Chinese emperor, Roman emperors that did specific things to grow their empire and to gain more power, and the way they went about different types of sections. So this law 6 states how important attention is and how that can get you so much in life. And I'm going to go into why is attention so important, right? From top to bottom, attention lets more people know that you exist. You've now seen, if in any form, whatever it is, good attention, bad attention, that other person exists, right? That's number 1. Number 2, the more people that know that you exist, they can now ask for your help. The more people ask for your help, the more people buy from you, respectively, the more you make in sales, aka revenue. The more you make in revenue, the more you can buy more attention, right? Meaning you can buy more talent to help you get more attention, buy more ads, or buy more, organic outreach with good content and get more attention. So this is why it's called the cycle of dominance, because given that your product or service is exactly the same as someone else's, right? Let's assume you're a dentist and you're selling veneers, you're selling, the teeth correction clear aligners, right? This is more or less the same. You might have a nice dentist, bad dentist, you might have a couple of different brands, but they all aim to do exactly the same thing, right? So given the same product or service, the dentist or the company that produces these veneers and they get the most attention, they're going to get the most sales, and they're going to be able to buy more attention, outbeating everyone else in the market. This is the cycle of dominance. And this is what made companies like Coca-Cola and Amazon and everyone else so big and so over-encompassing, is because they got more attention and they were able to buy more attention and eventually beat out the competition. Okay, so now we all know that your product or services may be a little bit different or maybe a little bit unique, right? You might be an interior designer, an architect, or someone that does something very specific for a specific type of audience, which is absolutely great, because then you have differentiators that are allowing you to, position your service as completely unique, basically making you a monopolistic service because nobody else can actually offer those unique design services that you do. And so, any attention that you get may get you sales. However, more attention will allow you to go out there and sell to the people that you want to sell. And that's not all, right? If we look at what more attention and more sales gets you, it allows you to get better, happier talent, right? I don't know how many of you right now are in the position where you're hiring contractors. You know, one month you have work, the next month you don't have work, and you're like, sorry, Steven, I can't, I don't have any work for you this month. And then Steven goes and he works for somebody else, right? And maybe that other person gives them more regular work, or maybe even more pay. And the next month when work comes in, Steven is not available. So how many of you have experienced that exact situation, right? I know, because we hire contractors too. And I don't know how many times I've had a contractor that, in the past, that maybe I wasn't able to give enough work or to pay, and then they left me, right? Especially the good ones, they'll be gone way quicker than the ones that don't perform, right? So when you have more attention and you have more sales, you can hire better talent. You can pay more money to the people that do a better job, and you can make them happier by paying them more than what the average industry would allow them, and still make a profit, right? And the company is asking for you to continuously grow and offer newer, better, cooler things, right? So if we're looking at architects and interior designers and stuff like that, or real estate, people are looking for new things, 3D models, drones, new software, new ways to have this presented to them. And you need to be able to keep up. That means you don't just need to learn this stuff, you need to buy this stuff, you need to train your employees to understand this stuff so that you can pass this on to your clients. And this is ultimately giving you better services, better products. And finally, this is also just more trust, more dominance. If people have seen you before and they've seen your content, your expertise, your authority, they know you're probably the right person for this job without this is subconsciously communicated. Hey, this person has been around here before, as opposed to just seeing you the first time when they're looking for it. That being said, how do we get more attention? And I'm going to skip some of these slides here that I did in a live webinar, because we did a little bit of a workshop where we asked, what is it? How do you get attention currently? Are you posting? Are you getting some Google traffic? Or is it just word of mouth and referrals, right? What are you doing to get attention on the internet so that people find you? Are you posting some YouTube videos? You're posting some blog posts? So whatever it is you're doing in here, I want to focus on, what actually works. So where your buyers currently hang out. And one of the main things, or one of the two main things, one of them is Google, right? They're searching for you, right? And the other one is social media, right? They're hanging out on social media, and that's where they scroll for information. So this specifically is now going to be very specific for all of you creatives, right? Architects, designers, interior designers. For all of you that do not believe it's possible to get traffic through Google, here are some statistics. And I have this all from, Ahrefs, from a tool this data is very fresh. This is just 2 days ago, looking at the terms in a few of this industry. So if we're looking at terms interior design, what so many people get wrong when it comes to SEO is it's not about interior designer near me or interior designer New York. Those are terms and they are being searched for, but it's more about these 111,000 different terms that are something similar to interior design. This could be classic interior design, mid-century interior design. This could be, how do I align my windows symmetrically? How do I pick the colors for my basement? All of these questions that people are asking, and this is just strictly speaking keywords that have something to do with interior design. This is not even the keyword that is saying what are the colors, how do I pick the colors for my curtains in my living room, right? Which are questions that are being asked by people. People are trying to figure out, how do they do this? How do they do that? How do they interior design? These are questions that are being asked. And just for interior design, there's over 100,000 different terms searched by 1.4 million people in the US each and every single month. This is an insane amount of people that are actively looking for something related to this topic. And the same goes for architecture, right? Here, there may be technical architects in here, right? Which do the software part of things. There may be the ones looking for the home architects, custom homes, this, that, all the way to people looking for different commercial, larger solutions, right? And there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of different terms related to architecture, searched by millions and millions of people. The same goes for design, right? Design is an over-encompassing huge topic. There's e-commerce shops, there's interior designers, there's hundreds of different designers that do something bespoke, unique. So for every one of you, there is a pocket of keywords, potentially thousands of keywords, where you can educate your audience, where you can educate your buyers, where you can educate your potential prospects and customers and tell them how you do things and how you do things differently and better, and how you present yourself and how you can build your authority and show them that you're the right person to work with. Okay, so there's room for everyone, and nobody can cover all of these hundreds of thousands and millions of terms. Not even the biggest companies. The big companies cover, thousands, potentially millions of terms, but there's room for everyone, especially for smaller service-based businesses, as Google is trying to serve you relevant data. Okay, for everyone that doesn't know what Google's mission or purpose is, I can tell you they're a publicly traded company and they have shareholders. So their main mission is to make their shareholders happy. When are shareholders happy? When they get more money, okay? So when they can pay themselves dividends, when the stock goes up, right? That means the company makes more money, makes more revenue, makes more profit. How does Google make money? The biggest part of Google, how they make money, is through advertising, right? They sell you ads. How can they sell more people more ads? If people continue to use Google every single day and they continue to find the content that they search for useful and helpful. Okay, so their main goal is serving you useful, helpful content with as little friction as possible. Because when they do that, you continue to use Google and they continue to serve you more ads, which makes them money and makes the shareholders happy. So that is Google's mission. And they're always going to strive for that. So that means they're trying to put more relevant content to you. And if you're a local service-based business, a local interior designer, a local architect, any kind of company offering things in your area, Google is trying to serve people searching for different solutions locally your results, and not that of that big company, Amazon, or somewhere else in another state. They're looking to serve local businesses because those may be more relevant. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily matter how much money you have, how many blog posts you posted, how many backlinks you have. Okay, so really quickly, foundations, right? Everything I'm talking about in here assumes that you have a website, that you know you can get clients online. And for everyone that doesn't, please tell me, comment below that you don't know that it's possible. And I'll make some more videos showing you how we can set up a website in a day and get some clients online. Everyone in here that is listening right now that understands that, you've probably found one client online, you're present on social media, and you have ICP market fit. ICP market fit means that you know who your ideal client is and that you have an offering serving that ideal client. Okay, and that means that you're not an interior designer saying that you help absolutely everyone and everywhere and you do everything, but you're an interior designer with a specific focus and you help specific kind of people, maybe people that have $1 million home, do X, Y, Z. This is really important. For anyone that doesn't have this or doesn't understand this, please comment below and I'll make a video on that, and how to find ICP market fit. So what do you need to do? Really quickly, there's 4 topics that are super important. All the way on the left, we have keywords, right? We talked about keywords before. There's hundreds of thousands related to architecture and millions related to design. So what you need to do right now is you need to take your offer and your ideal client, and you need to understand what is your ideal client searching for. I'll come up with some tips later in the video on how you can do that without any fancy tools. You need to find what your ideal client is searching for. You need to find that on Google. You need to see what's out there, and you need to create content similar or better to that so that you can show up there. The second step, what you need other websites to link to you. A couple of slides down in the video, I'm going to show you exactly what you can do, even without money, to get your first backlinks. The third step, which many people do not understand properly, it's not about one time fixing this. This is a regular thing. This is like running ads or anything that you do. You only get, this is not, screaming for attention and then being quiet is going to get you attention for 2 seconds and no more, right? So we want to post regularly. We want to post content. You saw how many millions of keywords I showed you before. Every time you post, you should be targeting one keyword. Now your blog post can show up for many keywords because you're talking about different topics, but you want to target one keyword specifically. Okay, so imagine that you have 100,000 keywords. That's 100,000 posts. You should be doing 2, 3, 4, if you can, 10, 20 a month to cover more and more and more of those topics so that you can show up more, get more attention. You want to do this consistently and you want to stay up to date. This is a video talking about strategies that work right now in 2025. I'm sure there's hundreds of videos out there that are talking about how to get more clients in 2023 or 2017. This is up to date and new information. So you want to keep your clients, the information that you post, up to date and relevant. You want to continue doing so. So now the big question, right? We talked a little bit about these keywords and stuff before. Is it worth it? Should you do this too? Does this even work? Well, all your clients came from word of mouth and referrals. So why even bother doing this? Why bother paying someone? Why bother, working for this? So this example is hated by interior designers, architects, and so on, because it's a big company that goes and snatches up all of this traffic and then sells it back to you by getting a subscription or adding their percentages, and they put you on a list right next to 10 of your competitors, and they're like, yeah, pick one and choose one and press all the prices down, and they anyway make their money no matter who the customer chooses finally. But nevertheless, this company has built a $4 billion business of showing up on Google. That's all. They run ads, they do a bunch of different other things as well, but they're showing up on Google for 2.1 million keywords. This is as of yesterday. And 3 million people come to their website. Your clients, by the way, if you're an architect or interior designer, your clients, they come to this website each and every month. And they're coming to look for your services. And they sign up, they put in their data, and then they get a list of, maybe if you're using one of these services from these guys, you show up in that list. And you may be saying, well, the people that are looking for these type of services are not, the people that are looking for my high-end bespoke services and stuff like that. I can tell you it's not entirely like that. Even the people looking for the most bespoke, most high-end services, they also want to see what's out there. They also want to get inspired, reviews, search, understand what's out there, and build their ideas. So am I talking about you building a 4 billion business, capitalizing on 2 million keywords? No, we don't need to build a Coca-Cola, Amazon, or a house. We want to just capitalize on a little bit of this pie. If you're a local service-based business, you don't need 2.1 million keywords to rank for. It's fine if you rank for a couple, 10, 20, 30 very good keywords, or a couple hundred, mediocre keywords. You'll have plenty of clients. You'll be able to grow to your 7-figure business or multiple 7 figures locally without targeting 2.1 million keywords. So with that being said, let's take a nibble at this pie, right? Let's dive into the exact strategies that you need right now that you can do, without any fancy tools, without any advertising, and without a marketing degree. How do you get more clients? How do you get more of that? So the first thing that we talked about before is keywords. 2.1 million something build this $4 billion company. It's all these keywords that people are searching for. It's weird things that sometimes you won't even imagine people are looking for. And sometimes you may say, well, how to become an interior designer is not a keyword that is related for this. These are not my clients searching for this. These are the students that might become my employees 3 years down the road, right? Which is completely fine. I'm not telling you to go after every keyword of these 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, or all these millions that we've seen. What you need to do is you need to find the right keywords that fit the intersection of your capabilities and your authority and your expertise and what the market is looking for. So ICP market fit, okay? What are your clients looking for? And what is it that you like to talk about, like to do, okay? So it could be that you're into sustainable design. Well, then you go look for questions that people are asking when they're looking for sustainable design. What are they interested in? What are their concerns? Are they interested in certifications, regulations, different materials? What are they looking for, right? So here's how you can use different tools to find exactly this. You can use good old Google. Go Google those terms, right? And I'd recommend you Google all of those terms. Google sustainable materials if that's your thing. Go look up what other people are posting, what is out there, all this stuff. And then you can use ChatGPT, right? You can use AI to help inspire you with more ideas. You can use AI to help you understand, what else is there? And you can give ChatGPT, tell them, hey, give me 50 keywords related to what people are searching for when they're looking for sustainable things. Okay, cool. And then you can use some semi-fancy tools that you don't need to pay for. Some of them are answer to public. Ahrefs has a free tool. We can look here, they have it, which also gives you some keywords, right? Some ability. You can go look that up, right? It will show us some different questions that are being searched for. Also some that are not very hard to rank for. And for $29, they'll give you more. So there's other tools, right? Neil Patel's tool, right? There's Answer the Public. There's Uber. So this is a free tool, right? Gives you a free trial, gives you some free searches. You can go use it. I'm not affiliate linked or whatever. You can just go use it. Go put in your keyword. Go put in your website. Go see what's being asked. And then you find the keywords that your audience, your target client is searching for and that you like to talk about, your expertise. And these are the keywords that you go after. Ideally, not keywords that are super difficult to go after. Some of the tools like Uber Suggest and the free Ahrefs tool will tell you which ones are super difficult to rank for. Difficult keywords are usually searched by many more people. Don't get caught up by the search volume. It should just be searched by a few people. You can go after keywords that are being searched for 20 people. It's not about the volume strictly. It's more about just covering a lot of those keywords. And Google will automatically give you more authority and assign you more room to rank higher up for other keywords. So next step, right? What comes after the keyword? Then it's the content. And content doesn't need to be only a blog, right? I can tell you even in 2025, yes, content still works. Feel free to use AI if you need inspiration and to draft it, but go in and edit it and make sure that it reflects your authority, your expertise, and is a high quality piece of content that people would like to read. Don't just take AI and publish it. That will be worthless. No one's interested in that, and it will not help your authority online. And so you need to take the time to do this right. If you want to do a YouTube video like this one here, where I'm explaining to you exactly what you need to do, you can do the same to your client. You can tell them, here's exactly what you need to do to pick the colors for your curtains in your living room, and go through the materials. If you want, through a presentation or live, different, with your preferred supplier, whatever you want to do. Or within social media, you can do short form posts. You can do short form posts where you talk about, do this, do that. This is where you give value to your audience. So it doesn't just need to be, if we're talking about Google search, yes, it's a blog, but YouTube belongs to Google too. So YouTube videos are indexed as well in Google, right? Anyone searching for those topics will show up. What's next, right? Next, we talked about backlinks. So backlinks is a topic that can get really complex and many people don't understand properly what it means. Backlinks are really simple to understand. It's another website linking to your website. And now there's different formats of backlinks, right? There's do follow backlinks and no follow backlinks and all that kind of complicated stuff. In essence, yes, only the do follow backlinks, right? If there's a little do follow in the source code, they're actually valuable. But don't get too caught up on that. Any link somehow, especially smaller websites and stuff, will sometimes not even understand the difference properly, and they will just link to you. So if you're just starting out and you just publish your website, or you're just getting into this topic right now and you're like, I need to get more clients online, you want to find suppliers, contractors, friends, anyone with a website that you know in your area, or people that you might not know, but they're somewhat related to what you do. Reach out to them and offer them some form of value. Be like, hey, look, if it's a contractor, you can say, hey, look, I want to include you on my list of preferred contractors that I send out to my clients. And in exchange, I would like you to, put my logo on your website somewhere and link back to me. Or I'll write you a quick blog post, which will be valuable to you as well. And in that blog post, you link back to me. This will help. And it doesn't need to be Forbes or ArcDaily, or it just can be any kind of related website in your area, especially if it's local and if it's relevant. That will help way more than big, expensive PR sites that are not related to what you do in somewhat international, national magazines. If you're a local-based service business, this will help you so much more to get these local links in. Run after press. If anyone features you, if anyone talks about you, you can search your name on Google, look at who, or your company name, and whoever talks about you and they're not linking back to you, go ask them immediately to go link back to you, because that might be powerful. And if you want to go above and beyond, you can do simple local outreach. You can go find related companies, contractors, suppliers, and so on. And you can reach out to them and say, hey, why not collaborate on this thing? You can do the value exchange, offer something of value, and ask them to link back to you. Okay, links are super important. Still now in 2025, it's the best thing you can do. If you get more links to your website, Google understands that your website is important, it's not spam, and it will show you higher up in the search results. It's one of the main things we do for our clients. We get them more high quality, powerful links. That's why they show up at the top of the search results and get more clients and inquiries. So if you're interested in someone helping you do that, you can also just reach out and we'll get that done for you. If you don't have the money to pay some kind of marketing agency, you can do it on your own. You can go after those different people in your local area. So I'm going to give you some context right now on how many links and how many posts you need, right? Because nobody really talks about this. Oh, post more. What can we do? So here's a little checkbox on how much revenue you have. If you're below 10K a month and you're just looking to get started, you got to scratch and claw whatever you can, post as much as you can, as much time as you have next to, you're probably not delivering a lot of work to clients. So you can spend 50, 60, 70, 80% of your time on marketing, right? If you don't have any clients and you don't need to work on client work, and if you're not making a lot of money, then you can spend all your time on marketing. And you write blog posts, you write 1 or 2 every day. You can use AI to draft it, like I said before, but do not publish just AI content. Make sure it has images, make sure it has links, make sure it has your authority and your expertise in it. Make sure you cite local things if you're a local based service business. And for the links, exactly what I mentioned before, reach out to local suppliers, other businesses, anyone with a website in your area, even if it's the government websites or something like that, that can be really useful too. Usually those are quite powerful, your local community websites and stuff like that. If you're making a little bit of money, you signed a couple of clients, you're making 10 to 30K a month, you want to do this professionally. If you don't have time to do it yourself because you're completely busy with your work, when you're thinking about hiring your first employees, you should think about hiring someone who can help you with this. Now, obviously we do this, but in any case, if you're looking for some kind of marketing agency to help you, make sure if you're working with a marketing agency right now, they're actually delivering this for whatever kind of retainer you're paying them. Make sure they're actually delivering like 2 to 3 posts and around 5 high quality links. And if you need help checking what links you've gotten in the past months from whatever agency you're working with, feel free to book in a free strategy session below in the comments and we'll look at that. Like we have all the fancy tools to pull up all of the links that have been going on in your past time and we'll analyze it for you and tell you exactly what's going on and if that's useful or not. If you're making more money online, you're between multiple 5 and you're going into 7 figures annually, you should take this really seriously. You should be posting 5 to 10 times per month and you should get 10 plus links each and every month. This is when you get professional outreach. You do not scratch and claw your way, but you do professional outreach, you do real value content and you pay other websites to link to you. This is like a little bit going into digital PR already. If you're making multiple 7 figures, this is the point where you really do this professionally. You want to post 10 plus times per month or more across multiple channels. If you can also on LinkedIn, Pulse, Medium, whatever, and you're getting 20 plus links per month. Cool. What does this cost, right? What does a link cost, right? And I know that before we dive into this, many of you are thinking about buying links and then you go to Fiverr, you go to Upwork and every agency and every ad is telling you, oh, here you can get thousands of links for free. Not every link gets you the same amount of value. There's hundreds of websites and suppliers out there that are just sending you some kind of links that they link out to thousands of other websites. And you think Google doesn't understand that? Google sees that that website gets 0 traffic and it's not used by anyone and nobody is interested in that, that website or that article, and it doesn't value that content as opposed to even if those links that we talked to before, like that local contractor or supplier in your local area that gets, a couple hundred people coming to the website each and every month. Google understand that's a real business and they're doing real things. That is way more powerful than all those Fiverr backlinks and stuff like that you can get for a couple of dollars. Okay, so what does this look like, for example, also for posts? I talked about AI before, ChatGPT, AI. Even if you do a post with AI and ChatGPT, you're looking at $100 to $300 per post. And I'm saying this even if you're doing them yourself, right? If you pay yourself $50 an hour, you assign a value to your time, you're gonna need at least 2 to 3 hours to complete a good quality post, okay? And we're already sitting at $150 per post, okay? You want to edit it, add images, add links, everything. That takes time. If you outsource this, you've got to build systems, you got to build proof or hire an agency. So the cost is always kind of the same. If you decide to do it all on your own, or you decide to hire someone who has already done all of this, you do not get around, paying a bit of money per post. even if you use AI, even if you use all of those things to your advantage, you want to do this high quality that is really useful to you as a local business. Same for the backlinks. You don't want those backlinks that are linking to hundreds of websites and that are some, fake traffic, whatever kind of stuff. You want the high quality backlinks. And usually when you acquire these, it will cost you between $150 to $500 per link. You don't need to spend thousands on super high authority websites and digital PR, but you want to usually be spending a little bit, because links that are sometimes websites will offer you some kind of exchange, value exchange. I mentioned all those things before, and you can get them for free. When you do this professionally, you're probably looking at a cost of around 100, 200, 300 per link. That really increases your authority and builds that on Google. Okay, so what does that look like across revenue? Here we have 10 to 30K. You're doing 2 to 3 posts per month and 5 links. That's, a couple $1,000, 1, 2, sometimes a little bit more. If we're doing this professionally and we have 5+ posts, 10 links per month, we're looking at 3 to 5K per month in spend to get this done. If we're multiple 7 figures, right, we can also afford it. And we're looking usually at, around 5K per month in regular SEO efforts. This is also the point where when I talk about, hire or do it yourself, this is usually the point when, we talked about scratch and claw, do everything on your own. Or if you have savings or VC funding or whatever, feel free to hire an agency all the way at the beginning. If you are making some money and you want to pay someone, you should definitely outsource this, right? You should definitely get an agency to do this. Here you see the cost, the raw cost of what it takes. So you can do your own calculations, right? If an agency comes to you and says, we can do all of that for $500, might take it with a grain of salt. If an agency comes to you and says, well, we're charging you 5K, well, might be a lot of margin there, but usually, you'd think they have around 50% margin. So it might be like that, right? So this is the general consensus. If an agency comes to you, like for example, these are kind of the rates that we charge for our basic package. What we do is around 2K per month. That usually says, hey, they're super efficient and super good at what they do, right? So they have all these processes dialed down to the T, that they know how they can get you results, and they're giving you value back for your money, right? That means they're giving you this basically at the raw cost because they're so efficient that they can make a margin on the back end. Then if we go into 30 to 38, so all the way onto 7 figures, 100% outsource, you got to put in the 3 to 5K in raw costs. If you're working with an agency, sometimes it can be a little bit more. This is what I mentioned. Then if you're looking at multiple 7 figures, I would suggest taking what you did while growing your business and taking these companies where you used to outsource this and building your own internal team, right? Maybe you have your writer, you have your editor, you have someone, looking for these press relationships and backlinks and stuff like that. This is the point where it makes sense to really have someone in the marketing team looking after this full time. And you can take all of the, the agencies that helped you grow here and learn from them, their processes and how they do things, and really build that in your own company. Okay, cool. So what if you want leads fast and you don't want to wait 3, 6, 9 months for Google to pick up your rankings and for this to really work? And when you Google things anyway, you always see ads, right? So if you want leads faster, you run ads, right? So here's another example of 2 companies in the industry of architects, interior designers, contractors, and whatnot that run ads. This is again data off Ahrefs saying they spend around 100K a month, Thumbtack around 200K a month. House does this to all of the bigger companies, right? So they would not be spending this amount of money over a consecutive amount of time over many years if they had not been getting results, right? So they get results. Your clients are clicking on their ads and they're finding people to help them with their problem or their dream. And you can be there too. You can get the same ad space and get the same kind of clicks and get the people to buy your services directly versus going over this intermediary and getting ads. Let's go a little bit into advertising and when should you advertise? If you want to scale or if you have huge peaks and troughs in a 7-figure business, right? So that's when you run ads. So 0 to 10K, no. 10 to 30K, no. And this is what many people get wrong, by the way. We have so many people reaching out to us and they're making below 10K and they're like, well, I heard you can do $10 a day. No, you cannot. And I'll explain exactly why. If you're making 30K plus, that's usually when you can start to run ads. And if you're making multiple 7 figures, then yes. And the budget, it will be between 5 and 30K per month. So you see also why you do not run ads if you're running ads if you're below 10K is because it's just too expensive for you. Just speaking about your revenue. I'm not saying if you have savings or VC funded or whatever, you want to scale super fast, go ahead, put your money into ads. That's really good. But if you strictly want to take this money, from your business, you're not using your savings, you're not using any other outside income, you can only run ads at a later point, right? When you can comfortably afford it, and you can comfortably afford it for a couple of months. Ads is testing, trying, and doing things again. You may not get a client in your first month. It takes a little bit of time. Why ads didn't work for you or why they don't work, right? For all of you out there that have run ads in the past and it didn't work, right? Here's exactly why it didn't work. Number one, you did not run ads with ICP market fit. We talked about this before. You probably ran an ad, hey, I'm an interior designer, I do interior design projects. Are you interested in interior design projects all over the US? Hit me up and look at my website. That's not an ad that's gonna get you results, okay? You need to run a hyper-specific ad that is exactly talking to your ideal client. That means your ideal client may be this successful entrepreneur, that just bought a new home that is looking for a specific kind of interior e-design. You say, are you a successful entrepreneur and you always wanted a cozy home that you can invite your guests in and you just didn't have time to do it? I'll hop on a Zoom call with you like the ones that you're used to and they'll tell you exactly what to do. I'll give you a product list and tell you what to buy and it's only going to cost you this. And click the button and then you'll book time with me and we'll discuss your space and we'll take next steps. That's a hyper-specific ad. Right? And that's going exactly to your target audience. Facebook will understand how to find your target audience, or Instagram or Google, and Google it's more on the searches, and it will be, you'll know what keywords to target for these people, and that's the ad that you want to run. So number two, you did not spend enough money. Ads cost a lot of money. The reason why they cost a lot of money is because you need a lot of data. You do not know off 10 leads. You do not know if that's your right buyer. You need more leads. You need more data to make decisions that if you need to change the ad, change the offer, or do something different. If you do not have enough data, you cannot make the right decisions and you will not be able to run ads profitably. That's why it doesn't work with $10 a day, $10 a month, whatever these low cost strategies are, because they don't make sense. They might make sense for retargeting ads and stuff like that if you're running a lot of ads generally, but they do not work to actively do client acquisition. Usually you'd want to spend enough money on ads to get in enough data in order to make those decisions. That is not done with below $100 a day. Some cases you may be able to have exceptions, you may be able to get sales lower, and that's great for you. The general consensus, especially if you haven't been running ads before and you've never done so, or you didn't have the right partners that were able to help you, you want to be spending enough money. That means around 3K per month at minimum to collect enough data so that you can make those decisions, that you can see, oh, I'm actually talking to this is like a real client that is actually interested in my services. And if that happens and they don't close, well, then you have data. Then oh, well, that was because I couldn't close, or because my price was too high, or this or that or whatever. And then you can make those decisions and then you can continue on. And if you're selling a high ticket service, meaning, $5,000 or more, that should never be a problem. You can spend a couple $100, maybe even $1,000 to acquire that customer. And it's fine. You don't need to worry, even if you're spending half your total revenue initially on the acquisition cost. This will outrun and outpay for itself later down the road. Later, when you get referrals, case studies from these clients, you will build your authority organically and you won't just rely on ads, but you'll get more people coming through different sources. Number three, you gave up too early. See point two. Really simple, right? You ran ads for 2 weeks or for 2 months and you didn't collect enough data and you weren't able to make the decision, and you said ads are not for me. 4, you hired someone from Moldova. Nothing against Moldova, is probably a beautiful country, but what I'm trying to say is, hiring some freelancer from some country that's offering you a good deal, right? I'll only do it for $300 or for $500 or whatever, and I'll run these cheap ads for you. Usually they do not know what they're doing. It doesn't matter how much they're actually giving you a deal for or not, they're wasting your money and they're wasting your time. So you've lost 3 months of your time. You've lost a couple grand or a couple $100, whatever you decide to invest. But the more expensive thing is that you've actually, if you would have had the money and you would have been ready to invest in somebody who can actually help you get this done, you would have made $50,000 off your deals maybe, right? So that's what you've actually lost, and not just the couple $100 that you spend on ads, because it was those 3 months. Okay. So, and 5, you're trying to sell super high ticket, right? So again, if you're an architect, interior designer, contractor, whatever you do, your services cost many thousands of dollars, maybe millions. These are big decisions. So quick refresh, right? Trust is at an all-time low. Here's a graphic by this company called Gallup. They measure all these big companies and how much people trust them. People do not trust anymore. They don't trust big companies. They don't trust little companies. They need to be educated through, if you will, YouTube videos, social content, blog posts, online, in person, whatever you can. People want to know, like, and trust you. They want to know you're real and you can actually deliver what you're talking about. Right? They want to know, and I have these examples here, right? People, these are life savings or a big mortgage that they don't even know how they're going to pay for it. These are once in a lifetime decisions. Maybe it's their second or third or 10th home, but usually it's a really big thing. Even if it's a very affluent buyer and this is their 5th home, it's still a big thing. Multi-million-dollar purchases. And if it's commercial deals, these are entire careers on the line. If you're looking to, I don't know, be part of a 200 unit construction building or, commercial big hotels, things like that, their entire career is on the line by partnering with you. If you mess this up, that's big drama. And I don't think this is clear when we're talking about marketing, right? But many of you may be familiar with the rule of 7 that dictates that you need to see a chocolate bar if you're being advertised a new chocolate bar online 7 times before you buy it. This is for a $10 e-commerce product, not for a $200,000 home. With that being said, you want to make sure your potential buyers, they see you more than 7 times, maybe 20 times. They see who you are, what you do, why what you do is cool and good, and they want to know, like, and trust you before they ever consider purchasing from you. This is easier with word of mouth and referrals, but it's getting harder day by day, which may make you feel like your referrals are drying up. Because people, they want to justify their decisions, even if it's a referral. They're going to go check you out online. They're going to see, what did he do? Who did he do it for? What, projects, authority. So you got to build this and you got to be present. Okay. So what's next? Right? Start implementing or get someone to implement it for you. I hope this was valuable to you. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. I'll make another video on that. If anyone's interested in us tearing down your current marketing, your business, you can hop on a free strategy session below where myself or someone from the team will hop on a call with you and we'll look at everything you're doing and what you need to do and what you need to focus on. Take you away from all of that, what's happening right now. Okay. And if you have comments and you have questions, put it below. If you got anything from this video, give it a like, give it a share, give it a thumbs up, give it a follow, and I'll be posting more content like this very soon.